See Mumbai here, this built-up urban area, kind of on this peninsula, and we'll just zoom into Dharavi. And here we have Dharavi. So Dharavi is actually in the middle of this image here. The red circle is an area where Dharavi extended into. So Dharavi was much bigger. But what happened was that at any time the government can come in. This is why they lack tenure. They lack actually ownership of the land. At any time the government can say, all right, we're going to take this over. And so what they did in fast-growing emerging market India, Mumbai in particular, a city in India that's quite economically viable and growing. We see this particular area which was cleared for a business park. And so what's come into this business park? Multinational corporations. And so multinational corporations and businesses have essentially moved into this area and cleared it from this large, dense urban cluster, this urban slum, and it's only adding to the overcrowding found in Dharavi. And here we have the location or the headquarters of Citibank. Obviously a multinational corporation, and this is the Bandra Kurla complex. And so this was an area that was once a slum in which people were cleared out and they're forced to move somewhere else. It allowed them to move to the green circle. So the green circle is what is Dharavi today. Once again, Dharavi extended all the way up into where the red circle area is today. And so what happened is it's only adding to the overcrowded problem here in Dharavi, this urban slum that's obviously very, very close to the city center. But you can also see that kind of the marshy area to the one side, and so that's an area that's going to flood a lot, and so people don't like being flooded a lot. They don't like all of a sudden having to move because everything is now underwater, and so it only adds to this informal housing in places that are least desirable to live. Now we have a good sense, kind of now looking at a closer view of Dharavi, and we can see the competition for space, the demand for space quite high. And so much they're just kind of building these slum residences on top of this rock or this monolith. So what we got here is a little bit higher quality housing. You can already kind of see that compared to Kibera, but nonetheless very densely populated, and just maybe a tree here or there. They're kind of few and far between. So let's try to get an understanding of how densely populated Dharavi is, the informal settlement in Mumbai, the urban slum. It's about 500 acres. Dharavi is about the same size as IUPUI's campus. So they're essentially the same size. So just imagine putting onto IUPUI's campus and having them live there the entire population of Marion County, plus the entire population of Johnson County, plus the entire population of Hancock County, all inside IUPUI's campus. That just kind of gives you a clear indication of how crowded this is. But people are fine. People, it's overcrowded. Don't get me wrong. People might not like it, but it's not like it's that big of an issue. And so it goes back to our perception of being overcrowded. A lot of people who grow up in suburban homes, they all have to have their own bedroom, their own bathroom. Those are luxury items. And so what might be overcrowded to you would be different to an overcrowded, person here in an urban slum in the other side of the world. Once again, got a lot going on here, but we can see the role of trains as far as bringing people in to the urban slums. So we can see that, as far as this is adding to the fast growth in the urban areas of cities in these developing countries. But if we look at the building here, we can see a little bit nicer. We can see a little bit sturdier structures, corrugated steel that looks like it's a little bit more organized, that just plopped on top of something, like we saw in Kibera and some other images. But nonetheless, it's still very crowded. But one of the things you'll note, there's people who live in these urban slums who go to college in the United States. And so it's still, it doesn't prevent people from doing good in school, from then getting a scholarship or getting the opportunity to go to school somewhere else. Further, we can see the power lines coming through here, and so once again, least desirable areas to live. I don't know if you know anything about power lines, but first off, you got the bzzz. But there's been studies that have shown there's higher rates of cancer when you sit there underneath the bzzz all day long. And so least desirable areas. And so you can kind of see, in this case, in Dharavi, this definitely is the case. One of the big industries in Dharavi is actually in doing laundry. And so this is actually very fascinating. So we look at this informal settlement, this, Dharavi. How do people make money? How do people, earn income? Here, the big thing is washing clothes. Who are they washing clothes for? Look at those condominiums over there that are being built. Look at the wealthy people that are moving in nearby. And so what they're doing is essentially performing a service. And so it's very much the service sector, tertiary sector, for the wealthy individuals. And so they actually prefer the wealthy people in the high-rises there in Mumbai, India, nearby, actually prefer their laundry to be done by hand by the individuals here inside Dharavi. And so, although they might have access to a washing machine, I guess they prefer it being done handmade. And so once again, we see in these urban slums, it's just not people just waiting for some government to give them money. We see, definitely people who are earning an income, doing jobs, performing different services and different tasks, and definitely being a part of the economy, although probably not registered and not calculated in any data. And for the good students, for the deep thinking students, just some questions to ponder to end this discussion. So go ahead, if you want, think about these. You want to send me a message if you have your thoughts or anything you'd like to share on this. But these are just kind of some deep thinking questions, just to kind of wrap it up.